What's up, everybody? Okay, so listen, I am comedian Allison Moore, and I appreciate you for tuning in to the More Laughing at Work podcast. Those of you who you're watching, mm, I had to tell you you were watching. I'm the weirdo here. So primarily though, my main focus is audio. So I need you to get into this podcast so I can have this energy, a person to talk to, but I'm gonna focus more on my audio. Okay. So sorry. Sorry. Thank y'all. So I'm glad that you're here. Straight up. Cause I know that some people I was like, well, I'm just gonna do the podcast. And people were like, but people like to watch and they like to see. And since you're gonna do Zoom interviews anyway, why don't you just record the whole thing? So I'm like, okay, I'm resisting the urge to turn this into kind of some like Netflix production situation. And I got notes, which is the first one because I don't really like reading my notes in front of people when people all in my no business. Look, I got people keep calling my cell phone. This is random. This has nothing to do with the podcast, but I changed my telephone number, and whoever had my number before me for the last however long, people still want to get in contact with them. So, old person, can we swap for a week so you can settle some of your bills, business and stuff? Because they keep calling me, and I was already getting away from my bill collector. Right? If this is the case, I'm gonna be harassed. I might as well just have been harassed by my people. I don't want to be harassed by some stranger's person. Anyway, am I the only one that sees Miss Smith's pajama pants on this Zoom screen? Shout out to all the coworkers who have been forced to look at pajama pants, underwear, hair bonnets by accident on Zoom for the past 2 years. And then for those of you, the real OGs who were on Zoom and Teams and things like that regularly, even before the pandemic, y'all the real true VIPs. For real. I did have on underwear one time and I mean, I had on like night clothes situations, they weren't glorious, so focus. And I had my top piece up and I was living my best life. And then I'm like, oh, it's the background of the sun is just too bright. Let me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, girl, your bottom half is not appropriate. So I am my own elephant in the office. Did anybody see Allison's underwear? Okay, look, I know this is the beginning of our journey together, but I just got to go ahead and set the stage. I am a incredibly huge cornball. Now, I do think that I'm the coolest cornball you're going to ever meet, but that could be debatable. But I am a cornball. And so we are going to start every episode with an elephant in the office because I needed a job when I was working in corporate America. When I had a real people job, I needed some coworkers that I could laugh with because I didn't want to laugh with my other coworkers, and I didn't want them to know I was roasting people. But I would see some crazy things, and I'm like, gosh, I wish somebody would see this with me so I can blink and laugh. I had a couple of good coworker friends over the years, so I, shout out to them. But that's what we doing. So definitely share your elephant in the offices with me and take a picture too. If we ever do on the spot on and you looking at the elephant in the office while you listening to this. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back to the More Laughing at Work podcast. Today's episode title is I Hate My Job, respectfully. Finding excitement and passion in the job again. We're going to get into some of that get reignited. Like this made me think of the cheer in high school. We used to sing a cheer or sing a cheer. We used to cheer the cheerleaders. Get fired up, get fired up, get fired up, get fired up. It's your time to get. Sorry. Y'all, this is my first podcast, so I got to get my volume together because if you know me in real life anyway, I am sort of a yeller, I yell, but it's just I'm just excited or nervous, and so my voice is up and down, around, around. But welcome to the podcast. This is my first episode and my first real official podcast, y'all. I am so hyped, and I'm glad that you all are here with me. I am hyped because I have been saying that I was going to do a podcast for so long and for so many different audiences. I mean, honestly, I've been lying about podcasting for 3, 4, 5 years at this point. I got close many times, so close, but it didn't make it, official. So basically, I have done a bunch of Facebook Lives. Like, there's my podcast. No, it's not. No, it is not. It's a live, girl. But I decided to step it up. And then, I had this imposter syndrome and just a whole bunch of different things going on. And I'm just like, what who is the audience that I want to try my best to give some value to? And so the audience that won is the workplace audience. Like the workplace audience, yeah, people who got jobs there on it because working is hard. And honestly, this, you all that are listening to this were definitely my motivation to overcome my fears and whatever else was holding me back from doing this. Just because I remember when I was an employee, in some aspects, I'm still an employee now, and I just know what I needed, and I just know the cruciality. Let me tell y'all something. I'm gonna make up some words on this podcast. You just listen here. If you are irritated by a word maker upper, go ahead and just log off. But before you do, go just subscribe and say I'm proud of Allison and just share. But you ain't got to get back on this because I promise you I'm gonna make up a word. So okay, so the More Laughing in the Morning show, that's my morning talk show. I didn't really mean to put that plug in there, but just get into it. It's a whole brand thing. But for More Laughing at Work, this is what I envision the show. I mean, obviously, I expect it to. I'm going to make sure that it does. It's going to evolve, get better. So bear with me. But what I want is for listeners to walk away feeling like re-energized for work. Right. So thank you so much for taking this journey with me. So let's just keep it going. I am excited to share the next segment, y'all. Okay. I'm a little awkward. All right. So for our professional perspective segment, this is a thought of mine that I don't know if I got this. I got my little microphone and stuff. I got a sound man and everything, y'all. I'm fancy, but I can't tell because I can hear the sound in my headphones. I can't tell if y'all just heard that email sound effect. Wait, it don't sound like that. First of all, I tried to go all the way up to the mountaintop to get to that little pew, and it didn't even come out sounding the way that it sounds with the email notification. But anyway, did y'all hear that? Tell me if you heard that. I guess I could tell me when I edited that. All right. Anywho, so our professional perspective segment is a thought that encourages professional development. Because listen here, y'all. If we're gonna come to work every day, then we, at some point in some part of our coming to work person-esque, we are saying to ourselves, yo, you're doing this so that you can get better at something, so that this can take you to the next level. Now, whether that next level is coming in 6 months, coming in 6 years, coming in however long, we are doing this. This is a means to another means and to another means and to another means all the way till we get to the end. But I think that it's important to just spend some time, like developing, investing, coming together with like-minded people specific to areas that you spend a lot of time doing, right? Like you go to work 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day. Some of you all, shout out to those people who pull them 12-hour shifts and things like that. Like, are we really putting so much of our lives into something that we're not even trying to get better at or developing, or that we can't see how it's going to benefit us for a longer, more than just make money right now for this week or for this next paycheck? Like our jobs, our careers, how we make a living. We need to scale that effort and utilize it for many different reasons. And because we come to work and we are working hard, then, one of those reasons is to get better. Like the great prophet Jay-Z says, we don't work this hard to stay the same. What? I thought that was prophetical. Anyway, so okay, so for our professional perspective segment, which is again our segment that we just we developing around here professionally. We gonna be our best selves. We showing up to work our best selves because we got ambition, we got goals, we got things to do, people to see, places to go. So our what we're talking about today. So here's my notes. I'm excited. So today's professional perspective is self-motivated succession planning. Come on, you know that just sounds amazing. No, for real. Okay, so think about it. Many of us are sitting right now in spaces where we're like, first of all, I cannot stand this job. Okay. These people get on my nerves. Okay. I would much rather be in my bed, even if I can't stand this job. Understandable. But for me, when I found myself in a season where I was like, I hate my job, respectfully, the thing that got me out of that funk, out of that mindset, was getting a new job, respectfully. But even before that, it was finding something to be motivated about again. Because by the time I got to the place where I'm like, oh, shoot me. Well, please don't shoot me. But by the time I got to that miserable space, it was because I wasn't motivated anymore. It was because there was so many other things that had happened, but my motivation meter was like off. And there's no better time than now to make the most of our professional careers, right? Um, I mean, that's cliche, no better time than now, but I mean, like, for real, right now is like, I mean, there really is no better time than now. Okay, you get it. Um, this is why I'm like self-motivated succession planning. It's the one that we do for ourselves, not the one where, okay, we got our supervisor, our manager, or the leader comes out and they vision cast, and then we work our way backwards. Like, oh, that's right. That is a good idea for me at this job over the next couple of years. Okay, I can see the vision, or I can see where the company is going because they have outlined the company vision. And then we then implement that in our personal lives. I mean, that's a way to do it. But there's also the personally, I already know what I want to achieve, who I want to be professionally, and where I want to go. And so I'm just as equally prepared for the succession planning meeting as I am expecting for them to come and just tell me what I'm supposed to wake up for tomorrow. Like, no, we are going to be self-motivated to figure it out. So over the next couple of days, I just want to encourage you, coworker friends, to be thinking about, like, what do I want from this job? I mean, again, more than a check. We know we want a check, right? But what do I want from this? What can I get out of this? I need a shout out to all of the podcast people who have been there before me, who have podcasted in the podcast trees before I thou with. Wait. I say that because I'm trying to get my little stand here. I got a stand job. Well, no, I don't have a stand. That's the point. I wish I had a stand. I got everything else, but not a stand. With baby steps. We can get a stand for my phone so that I can read my notes. Okay, so like this segment, I want to encourage and inspire some accountability. That's a word that I don't always like because I'm like, mind your business. You accountable. You be accountable. You ain't gotta bring that mess over here. But then also want to take that accountability and do something with it, right? Like not just acknowledge, man, I could do better. Okay, so now we're gonna do something better. So that's this right here. Where do you want to be? For those of you, shout out to the MooreLaughing, all my MooreLaughing fans prior to this podcast. Thank you so much for supporting me over the journey of bringing laughter and edutainment. And shout out to this podcast and us getting here. Those who have been on my journey for a while, you were called the MooreLaughing OGs, the original gigglers, huh? You've been giggling with me. We ain't just, you're not just new to this, you true to this. We been putting on. I don't know what that voice is. I think it's my nerves. Okay, so like those of you who have been on this journey with me, we talk a lot about like forward movement, goal planning, goal getting. And it's a this time next year philosophy. Like I am a true believer. I advocate, I'm a proponent. Listen, we can transform our lives in a year. Really less than that, really. But sometimes some things are harder than others to get out of and to change. and to evolve, but you can make a significant difference in a year with even minimal effort. And I believe by this time next year, that's what you should always at least know. Where do you want to be this time next year? Where do you want to be this time next year? Whatever time this is that you were listening to this podcast. We got here fast, didn't we? Okay. So we're going to get to another one just like this in a year fast. And so let's take advantage of the time that we have right now to plan out our goals, our moves, our future. So as it applies to work, where do you want to be? And you're looking around right now, doing whatever it is that you're doing. Like I said, if you're in the office, or if you are working with your hands, you're moving around, or if you are just at home by yourself, or whatever, what do you want? Where do you want to be this time next year? Is what you're doing right now worth the money that you make? When you get your paycheck, do you feel like this is great? Now, we'll get into over the series how much stock we need to just be putting in getting paid from work. This should just be one stream of income, but we'll come to that. With this one stream of income, do you feel like that this is adequate, that this is comparable to the energy, the resources, the experience, all that you're putting into this? If not, what does that look like? Like, what is the pay grade that you feel like that you rightfully should be in? Or if you are in a physical job and the demands are just too physical on your body and you don't want to do that anymore, what you want to do? Or, if you're just not challenged, the physicality is not an issue, or the people, or it's just like you like, oh my gosh, I could do this in my sleep and I'm not challenged. I feel like this is a waste of my good brain. What do you want to do? This time next year, where would you ideally like to be? And now let's reverse engineer and talk about each week. Let's put in a little effort to getting ourselves there. We want to make more money in a year. All right, we got to do some things, just a little effort each week. I mean, some skill development for a quarter or two. We can put together plans that can help us transform our situations. But the first step is, what do we want? Specifically, what do we want to, even in this job, like what do we want to bring to the table? We're going to be in this organization by this time next year. Then what do we want to be? In what way do we want to be contributing differently or increasing our value? Because we're irritated with them by paying us the same thing or having these little minimal cost of living increases. What are we doing to provoke more? Like, are we just giving them a cost of working increase? I don't even know what I don't even know what that was, but we're gonna go with it. But you get what I'm saying? Like, for real. Like, are we doing anything above and beyond or more or different that justifies us, whatever that thought is gone, but you get what I'm saying, right? So we are going to hold each other accountable this week, co-worker friends. We in a break room together. I mean, this is my break room situation right now, which is one kind of part of my house, one kind of part of one of my own different video studio spaces for one of my characters, one part where my kid be sneaking snacks. I mean, this is my break room, where we come together. So we're in a break room. We the best of co-worker friends, and we just hold each other accountable. What are we going to do by this time next year? All right, you think about that, and then I'll be right back. That was a segment. And that was a hideous face. Welcome back. All right. So this is our co-worker conversation segment, in the break room with our co-worker friends. Okay, now today we don't have a guest, but under most circumstances, most shows and episodes, we're going to have a guest. The co-worker conversation segments are chats with co-workers, like the ones that you actually like. I ain't talking about the chats that you just like, so that your supervisor doesn't say you just being rude. The sympathy ones are the ones that's like, please stop talking to me for real. But the chats that you look forward to with the co-workers that you actually like, right? Conversations of laughter, professional development, because we're going to get better. lifestyle, because that's just real. What's going on in the world is impacting our work and our lives, and finances, because I don't want to do nothing if it don't have something to do with money. I'm just saying that is something you need to know about your coworker friend, Allison. So this segment, I'm gonna talk to the people. Sometimes they might be subject experts, sometimes influencers, but every time just people. Okay. So you can expect our guests to be coworkers that we like chatting with. Said that 17 times. Stuff like about work, life, money. Today, I am my first guest in the most unweird and unself-absorbed way possible. Is that possible? Like, can I really have myself as a guest and then not be self-absorbed? Like, I'm so feeling myself that I'm just we gonna Q&A together, Allison. Okay, whatever. Okay, so look, so I was thinking back on my career, because okay, what we say today's episode is I hate my job respectfully or whatever, right? And so I'm like, okay, I gotta get into and chop it up. By the time that I hated my job respectfully, like, we co-worker friends, right? We being real, right? And we'll laugh a little bit. You want to feel related to. I had a job that I hated, and I was in human resources. Okay, so between college and career, and we talking a 20-year span of my professional experience, college, working, entrepreneurship. During my younger and mature years, I remember the time that I hated my job. There might have been a time a little more recently where I hated it too, but those people might be listening. So, what I'm not going to do is start off my podcast being shady and a hater. So we're gonna focus on sometime way, way, way back where none of that is relevant anymore. But I would not have admitted it then, but my own understandable frustration with my employer definitely led to me sabotaging myself. And that's a part of why I thought that, like, we should probably crack open this right now for you coworker friends, because the reality is us hating our job only hurts us. Not only hurts us, but hurts us the most. Okay. So the time that I knew that I hated my job and how I wish I'd acted differently. I'm gonna be transparent, okay? I'm gonna be honest with you, because I know, I know I come across as perfect. For those of you who know me, I know that, what I'm saying, every time you see me, you see perfection. I'm being facetious. And those of you who just met, you can clearly, I'm if you don't know me by now. I'm sorry, sometimes part of my nervous condition is I do karaoke. Okay, so this is how this is when, because I don't even know if at that time I was saying I hate my job. Or maybe I just kind of, that's just what you're supposed to do. Like, can you really even like your job? And yes, guess what? You can. You can actually like doing what you do for a living. We can like our job. We can like the work that we do. And most of that comes from us, this internal stuff, and then it bubbles out. But when I knew, like, oh my, I hate it. I hate it here. I hate it, y'all. This ain't good. So this is what happened. I had asked for a promotion, and like I was already just not feeling like the job was, I couldn't see myself there a long time, much longer, because I'm like, oh, we not, I can't do this. I didn't feel adequately paid. So like I was getting paid, and I didn't feel like that my talents were being utilized. And so I had asked for a promotion, and y'all, I mean, you should have seen your girl. I had, my stuff, my ducks in a row, and I didn't just come like, oh, y'all need to be paying me more money. Like, I did my research. I reminded them of my performance reviews that were great. I shared with them my strengths, reminded them things that they had said about me, the investments that they had already taken or put into me to that point, the returns that I felt like that I could give, and just different ways I want to contribute to the company. Like, I felt like I came with some pretty solid, I really think that this is justified and I want to be here, but I want to be here at a much greater capacity, right? So anyways, I go in, I'm suited and booted. I asked for a promotion, and the director was just like, well, if we promote you, it won't be fair to the other human resources. What were we at that time? Specialists. I'm, I'm sorry, what? Straight up. He'll tell me if we promoted you, it wouldn't be fair to everybody else. Let me tell y'all something. Ooh, I know. I'm sorry. I should have said trigger alert. If there's anybody on the other end of this that feels triggered by this, because that is a thing. Sir, y'all saying the thing on social media, sir. Look, who? It won't be fair to who? Who want to be? Can you ask them? Are they in this room? Because I don't remember caring about them at all. You didn't hire me with them. You won't fire me with them. What do that? What? Oh my gosh. It was like, you couldn't even come up with a better answer for me than that. I was just crushed. Like, oh yeah. And I hate y'all anyway. And it was just, eek. And then after that, it just got like, my morale was just ugh. And there were several things that I could have done differently and could have done better during this time in the season to reflect on, which is what I want to share, and over time we'll grow and keep you all from anybody who's on the verge of just becoming bitter with their job. But bruh, I'm like, it wouldn't be fair. I don't care about sir. You never met my mama, because she say life ain't fair. Straight up. So then after that, you know what I'm saying? So now I'm upset. I'm in my bed. I just couldn't even. I felt for real, like so disrespected. Like, come to me with, here is why you don't deserve to be promoted at this time. Here's some things that you could do differently. Here's some things that this is what this is what we need. And your skill sets don't matter. Like, you gonna tell me it wouldn't be fair to I was sick, because I already knew that there were a lot of promotions and a lot of other opportunities that were being tossed around the company that were not fair. Fair was not the principle that we had it to up until that point been making decisions off of. So it was a lot for me as a young professional to hear, and my maturity or lack thereof wasn't at this place so I could really receive that and keep it together. Does that make sense? So like, now I got my feelings, and so then I went to this like internal pout. I came to work every day. I still did my work, but now it's like, oh, I don't want to talk to them. I had a very distrusting relationship with my management team from that point. It was just like, no, I'm good. I don't want to eat lunch with y'all. No, I don't feel like chumming with you all. And that's why I realized, like, you didn't really want to do this with them anyway. You was kind of always doing this smiling and faking the funk, because I guess subconsciously you thought you were making deposits in a way in which, when you did come for an ask, that it would be granted. And then once I realized that that was not necessarily the case, I didn't even want to pretend anymore. It was like I was just super passive aggressive and just weird, like, just don't talk to me, which really was. Whereas at that time I would be like, well, what? It's just, I'm just not talking to people. It's not that big of a deal. And at the end of the day, it wasn't that big of a deal. I wasn't slapping people and cussing people out. But one of the things that makes me who I am is my personality. And for those people who are maybe more extroverted, or a part of their currency is the energy and the positivity that brings, even when you become basic, I don't know, basic is not the best word, but if you pull back a little bit, people notice. Now, there is a great, in there lies an opportunity for you to see. Sometimes we don't even realize the value that we're creating or that we're giving, and until we pull back, and then it's like, oh, what's wrong with you? What happened? You don't smile in the mornings anymore. You don't know when it smiles. Make them pay you for smiling, but I'm just kidding. Anyway, so it was like, I pulled back because I was hurt, and then it just got more weird and more like, oh, she don't talk to us anymore. She didn't get a promotion, and again, yeah, that was what it was. But I would have, had I known what I know now, I would play my cards very differently. And so, listen, coworker friends, this would be what I would tell you if you came to me as an HR person that was just like, I'm just not happy because I asked my supervisor for a promotion and he was like, and so I don't want to work here no more. What should I do, Miss Allison? Because that's what some of my employees used to come and I would help them. Whether you come in that way or you were my homie that we ate lunch together, I would coach everybody the same. Before you get an attitude, before it spills out externally, really you got to ask yourself, was I really deserving of this promotion? I'm always about, I'm gonna correct me first, right? I'm gonna be self-aware or at least try as much as possible to reflect before I put off my whatevers on everybody else. So the first thing is, can you really prove, or do you feel 100% confident that you deserve what you're asking for, that you deserve what you expect? And then the next part about it, if the answer is A, yes, then it is okay. Well, continue to contribute, keep yourself at that level, maybe even take it up to the next notch, and then put yourself in a different space, which could mean work your way into a different promotion, maybe a different department if you want to stay within the company, or maybe go somewhere else where you'll be appreciated. For many of us, we're going to learn how to transform the environments in the workplace that we are at now. But for some of us on this podcast, it's going to be the encouragement that we need to find ourselves in a different company with leaders that value and appreciate us. Now, let's say we ask that question, do you feel like 100% that you deserve what you asking for? And they trying to play you, huh? And the answer is like, well, do I deserve? Deserve is subjective. Okay, now. All right. So if you got any of that in your soul, then it is all right. Well, let's just focus on us. Let's look at, all right, what can we do to make our flex more flexy? What, Allison? What can we do to make our, oh, by the way, I think I deserve a promotion or I'm about to be out, to make it more alarming? Because some of y'all in this, hey, I'm gonna put together my succession plan, I'm gonna take this to my leader and my manager, they might be like, yes, please, let me help you get out of here. So wait a minute, hold on. Hold on. But this is truly what I believe will get us remotivated. Okay. I think that succession planning and designing your future will 100% inspire you out of this, ugh, I hate it here. Ugh, I hate my job, respectfully. I truly believe that once we find some light at the end of the tunnel, right? And that light in the end of the tunnel goes back to what I was saying earlier in the episode. What do you want to do this time next year? Where do you want to be this time next year? If it's making an extra $10,000 a year or whatever that looks like, that's your light. That's the light at the end of the tunnel. That's inspiring. Now that's a little that you put into you. So as we're waking up tomorrow and the next day and getting prepared for work and attacking our tasks and duties, we address them differently, because it's like, yeah, this is one more day or one more shift or one more building such and such or one more project that puts me closer to my goal. Succession planning, I'm telling you, it's sparks, it's fire, it's excitement in there. Figuring out for yourself. Don't let somebody else tell you, this is what I think, that this is where you go. Now, we want to hold our leadership accountable. We want to hear what they got to say. We want to know what's on, what their hand is, the cards that are in their hands. But they are not going to tell us. They don't tell you what your future is. They're not the end all be all. They add to it. But we have our own ideas, our own dreams, our own inspirations. We know that the talents that we are giving and providing our employers or our clients in this season help take us to somewhere that benefits us. The life that we live is about us. And on the journey, we give some of ourselves to help someone else's organization grow, or help our business move forward, or help our customers solve their problems. But what is most important, the first thing is, what are we getting out of this? How does this benefit me? What do I want out of this life? What do I want from this experience? This is where I wish I had something like, Music. Designing your future is like a beautiful thing. I promise you that you can get remotivated if you put some respect on your future. I can't, I mean, like, I'm thinking about it, I'm listening to myself think as I talk, but I'm just like, there's no better pull it from, because everything else is external. We're pulling from external experiences and other people to try to keep us motivated. And I'm I'm like, look, before I was allowing my professional relationships to dictate my happiness at work. I'm like, oh, I really like this boss. They said they're gonna be here for 3 years. After they retire, they could see me in this next space. Or I really like this team. And so I was allowing those relationships, those uh, other opportunities and people connection to be the reason why I am excited, or the reason why I'm satisfied. I think that's a better word. Or why I'm okay, I'm gonna come and I'm gonna smile. But once I got the no, actually, I know, like, literally, I'm here because I'm excited about this dream that I had when I was 15, or this side business that I want to do in a couple of years, or now I see more options of how I want to live after I retire, or I got some things I want to do with my kids and some life experiences that I want to have. Like, those, me figuring out what I wanted for me gave me something internal that nobody else could change. Like, it was motivation and excitement and inspiration that was not going to be diminished by somebody at work. So, in conclusion, what we doing today? Look, we're thinking about what we're trying to be professionally. Um, I think I think we already said this, but a couple of us right there at the place of employment, right there with the clients that we have, with the customer base that we have, we really can be happy, excited, satisfied. We It's just our perspective. Some of us need to go ahead and write that resignation letter immediately because the abuse ain't gonna get no better, baby. Anyway, sorry, sorry, but no, straight up, like, some of y'all been working in some toxic places and it's terrible and it's been terrible for a very long time. Let it go. It's not gonna change. And some of y'all are just, you are the toxicity. And it's, hey, listen, sometimes we the ones. And we gotta do something with that. Still, you need to get into a new environment, take what you've learned. You still got great parts about you, and just start over for everybody, all parties involved. But ultimately, there's a reason why we're in this hump, this hump. Well, yeah, we're gonna bring this podcast to the end soon. We are going, excuse me, Alice, I thought we were talking about work. I thought this was a profession. Okay, focus. I'm just starting. Okay. Get out my brain. But some of us, like, if we're in this funk and we don't want to be in it anymore, especially as it applies to, it's not good for our mental health. You do it every day. We're not gonna keep coming to work and hating work and you still keep coming to work. No, we're gonna switch it up. We're gonna position ourselves to enjoy what we're doing for a living. Since we're doing it every day for a living, we're gonna either find the joy, the happiness, the excitement, the passion, the fire in the now, or we are going to switch it up. But we're not going to continue to be okay with spending so much time doing something that makes us miserable or feeling unfulfilled. Okay. All right. Let's take another break. I'll be right back. Y'all, I'm a break, ain't I? One thing she gonna do is she gonna break. I know y'all had to hear that. Like, if I can hear it, you gotta hear it. Oh my gosh. Welcome back. Oh my God. Okay, so we're at the final segment for today for our show, for our episodes. What is this, segment 4? Yes, this is our 4th segment, and this one is another short one. This segment, drumroll please, more laughing all the way to the bank. You knew it was coming. First of all, I am going to more laughing somebody to death. You understand what I'm saying? Shout out to me because your girl, listen, I was married. I didn't tell y'all nothing about me personally that I will, you should hop on my social media, but well, maybe not that. Yeah. Focus. So I am recently come to the end of a 17-year marriage. Although we come on, you ain't gotta be sad for me, Queen. Keep your head up. I am smiling. Okay. Anywho, because of which I ain't trying to take anything from the situation. And I am also not gonna use this as a moment to drag my ex. I mean, we co-workers, so we can get to know each other real good. But he's a good dad, and he and his family babysit. So I won't be talking about him, okay? But the reality is I am now a working single mother. I am a divorced woman. I am out here in these street. Okay, focus, focus. We are at work. And it's hard. And I realized, especially have been married for so long, I don't have a handle. I mean, this ain't had nothing to do with the marriage. I mean, maybe it has something to do with the marriage, but even before the marriage, I didn't have a handle on finances. I had never even seen a healthy financial, yeah, no. Mm. Me and the friends that I grew up with, we was all our families was in the same income level. I mean, and they're, it's perspective, right? There are some that were way worse than we were, but the reality is I didn't have a healthy relationship with money. That's what we're talking about. And so I just really believe that and wanted to include a little segment about finances in this show because that's why we're coming to work, right? To make a living, to work, to get money. We're not volunteering. This is not called volunteering. Wait, this is not called more laughing at volunteer. Okay, never mind. We lost it. Anywho, it's more laughing all the way to the bank because I want to make sure that you and we are coworker besties, that we encourage each other financially, right? Not just in our personal development space, or excuse me, professional development space, not just as people, but also in our wallet. So that when I do start doing episodes and stuff, or when we do live recordings and we get to get flued out and stuff like that, that all of us don't have to share a hotel room. I mean, I care about my fans, but I I don't want the Groupon every one of my experiences. Turns out I think I'm all that and I shouldn't be broke. And so I think this is a great time to kind of talk about it. I think the reason why I had emphasized the more laughing brand piece is because, that I did leave my relationship saying one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be like Tina Turner. I'm keeping the name. I'm keeping the last name. Listen here. I work hard for my more. So hard for more laughing. That's better. Okay, focus. So we're more laughing at the bank this segment. We're going to get into, things about finances. We're going to get into, hold on, wait, because this is one of the drawbacks of working from home because the kids at the house. Hold it. I was doing good. Coming. Y'all should have a key. Who is it? Recording. Okay. Sorry, I got kids coming in. Hold it. And then I got to put all my shriblets and my hair down. Okay, so I think that during this segment, I want to just make sure that we take time to break bread about mindset stuff. Like I've been seeing so much about how just your mindset, your mental relationship with money really does impact. I mean, obviously that just drives the decisions that we make and the outcomes. And so just a little something, mindset stuff, financial literacy stuff over since the pandemic. One of the good things that I have been able to one of the good things that have happened to me in the pandemic outside of getting single. I mean, focus, wait, I'm off. Sorry. Okay. One of the good things about me in the pandemic is I have started to like, I, because of all I was going through my real life, I realized like, yo, girl, you broke. And this, I don't, no, 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 exercise, no. I don't want to be broke no more. I don't like this. And before you jump into a new relationship, before you do anything, get your money up, cut off some of these everythings and get your money up. And I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know where it started. I knew that I wanted to create content around financial literacy. I started this financial literacy sketch, like this comedy, Funny Money Family. Shout out to those of you who follow that. That's me playing 6 characters. And it's just a family that comes together to have these virtual meetings or whatever, and they trying to solve each other's financial problems. Now, it's kind of the blind leading the blind. We're figuring out where that's supposed to go with the MooreLaughing brand. But I had a lot of fun doing it. But what it did was it put me in the space to kind of attract financial institutions to ask me to create content for them. And so in 2020, like the end of 2020 and 2021, I started to create content for Sona Bank / Premise Bank, and that was the beginning for me. Then now I'm doing communications over at Optus Bank. This is a bank in South Carolina. Sona Premise Bank is in Virginia. And so like I've been really excited or grateful for these opportunities. I kind of put myself out there and then got to do it. But being in these spaces just have allowed me to kind of like rethink about money. And I'm like, oh, so this is what the rich people doing? And this is how the people who are not rich do it. This is how people continue to, this is how they build wealth. And this is their relationship with money. And this is how they get down with it. So anyway, the one thing that we're going to do today, the real quick, want to leave in this MooreLaughing all the way to the bank segment is, because we're going to grow over our podcast together. This time next year, y'all. I'm sorry. This is deep stuff. Listen, financially, very specifically, where do you want to be by this time next year? Listen, y'all. I know that you all listening because it's a podcast. Sorry, I'm a cornball. But honestly, planning out, thinking about where you want to be by this time next year, man, it works. At the beginning of last year, I was like, the beginning of 2020, when the pandemic went down and I had first separated in 2020 was the beginning of my separation. It was just like, yo, this is not good. I'm out here a whole live entertainer, cannot go to work. This is not good. And so I started in 2020. Then once I realized like, oh shoot, I had actually achieved some goals. I think I surprised myself last year in 2021. Then I was really like, oh, I'm going to get serious. I'm going to challenge myself now. And I just put down something that, I'm going to challenge myself, or I'm going to work towards some things. Like I switched it up. So I'm so excited, and I'm truly a believer of this. And I just hope, that somebody is inspired on the other end of this today to, we already even thought through, and we're already talking about thinking about where we want to be by this time next year professionally, like in our professional space. Where do we want to be financially? Where do we want to be by this time next year? How much money do we want to have in the bank, or how much money do we want to have in other places? I've learned so much in supporting these banks about there are multiple tools to gain wealth, grow wealth, not just a bank, but a bank is a super valuable vehicle. But how much money do you want to have in the bank? How much money do you want to have in savings? Do you have any big purchases that you want to make this year? Lifestyle changes, all of those things. Like, what does that look like? And let's write that down. And now let's make a plan. And even as it becomes more clear to you, and as you hang out with us each week on the podcast, like the things that you want, write it. Tell me, let me know. Like, let me know what are your goals professionally and financially, because I'm going to go out and I'm going to find us guests. I'm going to find experts I'm going to talk to the people that I know. We're going to get these answers because who trying to live like this? I mean, this is cool, but I'm trying to get better since turns out it's an opportunity for us to get better out here. So anyway, okay, so that's MooreLaughing all the way to the bank. And today is just a simple, straight up, what does that look like? What's gonna make you laugh all the way to the bank? You know what I'm saying? I just freestyled that, but let's see if we can roll with this visual. If there is a something, what is that light at the end of the tunnel? What is that goal that can give much joy so that we can kind of be tickled when we do achieve this goal, right? And maybe that goal is having a certain number in the bank account. So when we get that, we're like, like we laughing, okay, all the way to the bank. So what is that? Or is it property buying or investments or getting into Bitcoin? Like any of those things, digital assets, whatever that looks like to you. Is it budgeting? Is it just having a handle on what you have? Is it not overdrafting your account? Is it sending your children to college or being able to travel and get life experiences? Like, what does that look like that in that financial space for you? That's going to make us laugh because we trying to go there. We trying to laugh all the way to the bank, right? I'm going to be laughing with you because we broke no more. Hashtag broke no more. All right, y'all. So listen. So that was our first episode, and I am just so excited. I'm who is cutting onions? Just need everybody to know that I am a crier. Girl will cry. I will cry, and I'm just a little emotional because I've been wanting to do this, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna grow professionally. And I want to grow professionally when my this time next year goes is to be more organized and have better time management skills and get some of these daggone ideas out my head because the ADHD is on overload. But you know what? Listen, we're gonna grow together. And we got this. And I'm just glad for those of you who listen that you listened. I hope that you're inspired and excited about being your best self at work because we're doing it anyway. And you're working hard and you're working well. And like the prophet Jay-Z said, what'd he say? Ain't nobody worked this hard to stay the same. So let's grow. Let's be better. I am your host, comedian Allison Moore. Thank you so much to our sponsors, Black Please Coffee. And if your supervisor or manager or HR department just needs a little help because they keep bringing in those boring trainings and boring experiences, y'all call me. You ain't got to do that no more. Call me, okay? Except if you're a bad employee. If you're a terrible employee, let's just work on yourself first before you be referring me because I don't want to think that. Anyway, thank you so much. I love you all, and I will talk to you on the next episode. Toodles.